So I'm in a changing strings mood, I guess. I have two more. Right now I'm gonna do this one because I noticed the other day I was playing and it sounded wrong and I was like, wait a second, am I out of tune? And sure enough, I was out of tune. This thing, unless I'm like really just yanking on the strings really hard, which I try not to do, it was out of tune. It goes out of tune, so that's fine. When it starts to go out of tune pretty regularly, which I just tuned it like a few days before, that's when I know the strings. And I notice you start seeing the wear on the edge of the string, and I'm trying to be on top of it and try to make it so everything sounds okay. So this is the way, this is what ought to be done. It's very simple. For whatever reason, I just haven't been playing as much. It's just time, and you know, now that I have a little bit of time, I have to just make sure that I use it instead of going, oh yeah, I need to do that, and then it just, and the next thing you know, it's Monday morning and I'm back to work or whatever. So take these strings out. I'm going to do Diodarios, and these are the same type that I have in now. I've had, I just like the way they handle. They sound good. So there you go. This is the LTD Vulture, James Hetfield LTD Vulture. This is my go-to guitar for everything, almost. So I just, I tune it for the longest time. I was tuned to E flat, and then I was tuned to D for like a little while, not very long. Then in the last year, I've been tuned to C sharp. This is all the part that gets dusty. My neck. Of course, there's going to be residue from my, well, not these fingers. So, getting this all wiped down, the pickups. That's because I'm not like playing out in the sun and getting sweat on everything. This is just me playing it as just like somebody in a climate controlled room, right? It's still going to get miscolored or whatever, so not the end of the world. So we took out our Diodarios. These are Diodarios. Did I say the gauge? This is 11 to 52. So a little bit lighter on the bottom, but not much. Actually, a light would be considered would be a 9. So this is 11 to 52. It handles lower tuning really well. It holds the tune really well until it doesn't. Because it does, like, that's how a sign of wear, that they just don't hold as well. They don't hold the tune as well. Because overall, when you have new strings on this LTD at least, it holds tune really well. So that's a good indicator whether it's going out. And I think I'd have to look it up. The last time I changed strings was sometime in the fall. I forget when. I have some things I wanted to record, so I was like, well, might as well change these strings. I have a couple of ideas that are kind of bouncing around, but I don't know if they're. The thing is, the thing I don't want to get stuck in is like have something that I see as a decent idea, but then get nervous about whether or not it's what I want to do, whether it sounds okay, or this or that. As long as I'm not a professional or anything. I can just navigate as I will, as I want, and not have to worry about, hey, this thing is this or this, worry about other people's opinions about stuff, and it's more of a pain to think about. Oh, I hope the people are watching like this or like. Ugh, that's just not my. It's not my. What you think of me is not my problem. Let's just put it that way. Your opinion of me is none of my business. As long as I get to do what I do and feel like I'm completing tasks or making music or whatever you want to call it, the way I want to do it, that's all that really matters at the end of all of this. I always end up putting like around 3 fingers, which is like, what, 1.5 inches of slack in my strings at the 12th fret. I forgot who showed on YouTube that, like, that's a way to that'll work. It might be, I don't know if that's like a hard and fast rule, or that's just somebody's thing that they've always done, but whatever. It seems to work okay for me, and it gives you just enough slack so that something goes wrong, you can move the tuning up and down if you wanted to. Here we go. Yep. See, like that? Leave enough slack so that when I'm tuning, because this will, like, that's not it, but you always tune going up, right? Or at least that's what I've learned over the years. I'm not classically taught, so I just learned from YouTube and learned as I went along. So the red is A and the gold is E. 8 minutes in and we're almost done. Right now, and I'm recording this on the 19th of March. And we're in the middle of a war, and it's just really, really terrible. There's no such thing as a good war, I don't think. Looking back at history, it's more of just terrible things and following terrible people and murdering school children. Murdering school children in the United States isn't that big of a deal anymore, I guess. I don't know. I remember when, like, Columbine happened, I was in college, and that was like, oh no, what are we going to do? And the answer was nothing. So murdering children in a school in another part of the globe doesn't mean anything. So that's always the interesting thing. We are just a murderous group, I guess. We meaning the United States. So, always ending on a good note. And here is my perfectly in tune notes. This mic is right here, so. Perfectly in tune, just right out of the gate. That's great.